Good evening and welcome to UP News. I'm your host, Wade Norris. Tonight I want to talk to you about what we're trying to do here at UP News. In this world where corporations and money dictate what news is all about, I want to bring to you an opportunity as a citizen to report your own news and to send it in and to make news happen from a citizen-based perspective. In this week's article in Time, we have a feature on Rupert Murdoch. It's called The Last Tycoon. And it talks about how this one person owns a third of all the media around the world. I don't think our founding fathers envisioned a day and age where one person, a person from another country for that fact, would have the kind of power and control over what happens in our government and what happens with our legislators through a manipulative type of industry like Rupert Murdoch's News Corp. With that being said, I'd like to hear from you guys. Send in your news stories, your reports, things that matter to you to UP News at www.ultimatepolitics.net, and let us know what you want to talk about. Don't let corporations dictate what you want to hear. Let you, the people, decide what you want to hear and report what the truth is in your country and in your world. Tonight our interview is with Elizabeth Edwards, spouse of presidential candidate John Edwards. And I think you're going to enjoy this interview. I hope you enjoy the show. As always, we appreciate your comments. Log on at www.ultimatepolitics.net. I'm Wade Norris. Good night. Good morning. This is Wade Norris with UP News. We're sitting here today with Elizabeth Edwards, wife of presidential candidate John Edwards, and she's in town in Colorado today. We're just going to be talking with her about what brings her to town and some of the things she's been working on with the campaign. Miss Edwards, welcome to the show.
Yeah, it's great to be with you, Wade.
So what brings you to Colorado this week?
Well, a number of things. I talked to labor leaders here, talked to elected officials, both about John's campaign and about the things that they're concerned about that ought to be addressed in the presidential campaign, and then meet with supporters. Westward swing, and happy to be in Denver. Our son Wade was a huge Broncos fan. So
yeah, I've become a Broncos fan since moving out here 7 years ago. Now we're at the AFL-CIO building. What other type of union things have you guys done on the campaign?
Well, John's done an enormous amount, both on the campaign and I think really importantly before the campaign.
Right.
This is not something he adopted as a campaign issue. This is something he feels very deeply. So he's walked picket lines, worked with organizing workers, thousands of workers throughout the country. Not alone, of course, but worked with unions to help do that. He's pressured employers who are not treating employees correctly or who are hesitant about cooperating with organizing activities. He's been a real champion for workers and for.
I saw I went online and looked at the News and Observer and saw that he's down in my hometown, Smithfield, North Carolina, organizing down there at the meat hog packing plant.
Right, and the labor issues at Smithfield have been long-standing, and I think it may be coming to a head, and maybe a point at which we get some real resolution that will protect the workers there.
Well, coming from a right-to-work state, and moving out here to a more union-friendly state, you really do understand the parity that unions provide everyday workers. I believe I heard on a Tom Hartman show that for every union job, you have 2 other jobs that have their wages increased because that union has worked for benefits and wages. And it's really good to see that coming back to the forefront again.
It is, and that's what John says. The best anti-poverty program we've ever had in this country is the union movement, because it's the union movement that has raised, as you said, not just the wages of the workers in the unions, but raised the wages in the prevailing industries.
So how are you doing?
I'm doing great, actually.
That's good.
Energized by the campaign.
Yeah, I was out on the western slope here in Colorado, out in Montrose and Grand Junction. In fact, this July 6th is the Montrose County Dems Jefferson Jackson dinner, and we've got one of your autographed books that I mailed to you guys and you sent back, and they're going to be auctioning that off a couple of months ago in Weld County. And these are very rural rural areas. We auctioned a John Edwards book and raised $500 for that.
That makes you feel great. You know, on rural issues too, that's something else that, you know, that's not getting discussed as much as it needs to be in this campaign. And in states, North Carolina, you know, you've got different rural issues in North Carolina than you have here in Colorado. But you know, we need a president who doesn't forget about the rural parts of the country.
Well, the Western Slope is more farm country. You have peach orchards, vineyards, a lot of sweet corn. Grand Junction Democrats just love you. In fact, they mention your name a little more often than they mention John's because you'd actually been out there. So hopefully we'll get to have them see you again soon.
I had a great turnout at Town Hall in Grand Junction, and it was great because it was a real conversation. They gave you trouble about things if they didn't think you had all the information. But I learned a lot, and I hope they learned a lot about the campaign at the same time.
One more quick question. You're talking about the Rural Farmers Initiative. What's John's take on that? And coming from a rural part of the country like we are, he is, you are.
You're about to stump me, I have to tell you.
Okay.
Okay. John. One thing I'm really proud about of John is he's got real policies on things,
right.
And he's sort of not waiting to come out with them. The problem for somebody who's trying to be a mother and also have aging parents is to keep up with everything he's doing.
Right.
So one of the things I'm not as up on are actually the details this time of his rural initiative. I mean, I have sort of an outline, but if you get down to specifics, I'm not going to be as fluent.
I've read some of it, and it's really great to see him being the champion of both unions and farmers and really the middle America values have been overlooked for the past 20, 30 years, and it's good to see him being the champion of those working class people.
The truth is, you know, big business does not need an administration that's advocating for them. They've got plenty of power in this country, socially, economically. They basically can dictate a lot of the policies that they want for themselves. And we need an administration that's thinking about just those people you're talking about all the workers in this country, people who are actually the backbone, and that's who John's thinking about.
So what's next after this?
I head to Las Vegas to open the Las Vegas office of John Edwards for President.
Wow.
Do a little bit of the same things I'm doing here, meeting with elected officials, with labor leaders there, also meeting with Hispanic Democratic Forum. They're having a small dinner where different candidates or different campaigns are going to talk, and I'll talk on behalf of John, and then off to California, just dancing as fast as I can.
Well, Elizabeth, thank you so much for being on the show.
It's great to be with you,
and
Wade.
I look forward to seeing you again down the road.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. This is Wade Norris with UP News, signing off here in Denver, Colorado at the AFL-CIO Hall with Elizabeth Edwards, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.